I went and bought me an outfit today that costed a lot of money today. You know what I mean? Because I figured that Wu-Tang was going to win. I don't know how y'all see it, but when it comes to the children, Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children. You know what I mean? Puffy is good, but Wu-Tang is the best, okay? I want y'all to know that this is ODB and I love you all. Peace.
That was Ol' Dirty Bastard crashing the Grammys back in 1998, jumping up on stage when he wasn't supposed to be there and delivering a perplexing speech about Wu-Tang being for the children. Wu-Tang had just lost Album of the Year to Diddy, back then known as Puff Daddy, pre-Baby Oil Diddy.
So you bought a whole bunch of new clothes and everything.
Yes.
And you went to the non-televised awards and you lost.
Yes, yes.
To who? Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
Now what are you teaching the children?
What
Seriously.
are you talking about?
What are you talking about right there?
Love.
Ol' Dirty Bastard was the heart of Wu-Tang Clan. He was raw, he was loud, he was unpredictable, and he was way smarter than people gave him credit for. But behind the chaos was a guy who kept saying something was wrong. He said people were drugging him, watching him, controlling him. Everyone laughed. Then he died in RZA's recording studio, surrounded by people, and no one helped. It was ruled an overdose, end of story. But it wasn't the end. Because everything ODB warned us about, that's hip-hop now. Labels run artists. Mental health is ignored. The system's still broken, and ODB saw it coming, way before the rest of us did. Ol' Dirty Bastard came up in Brooklyn with RZA and GZA. They were raised on kung fu movies, soul samples, and 5% Nation, a cultural movement that split off from the Nation of Islam in the 1960s. Before Wu-Tang was a brand, it was just these three trying to figure out how to stay alive and make something out of nothing. RZA had the plan, the vision.
It's always gonna be somebody in your family or amongst you that got a clear vision. You know what I mean? Or even the coach of your team. You know what I mean? The conductor of the orchestra. Somebody gotta have a clear vision.
GZA had the bars, but ODB had energy nobody could bottle. He could sing off key, scream mid-verse, and still write a beat better than half the industry. Even his beatboxing was unique.
1, 2, this is how we do it from Brooklyn. Oh yeah, that sounds kind of funky.
When Wu-Tang formed, Dirty was the one you remembered when the track ended. In 1993, they dropped Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, and it would eventually go triple platinum. It was a wild achievement for a rap collective with no real radio playability. They were underground as hell, and their sound spread through word of mouth. The rest of the Wu-Tang Clan had this cold, calculated edge. Street stories, strategy, chessboard mentality. ODB kicked in the door shirtless and barefoot. He made everything unpredictable. You didn't know if he was going to give you a verse or a sermon or a meltdown. That chaos became part of the brand.
Well, over the rainbow, where bluebirds fly.
RZA had a plan. Wu-Tang would drop as a group, then each member would go solo on different labels. It was business war strategy. Spread the brand. Get paid everywhere.
For it to manifest. And I was fortunate to have 9 brothers who were alpha. Right. No chumps in Wu. All right, alpha. Any one of them is dangerous as the other one. You know?
ODB was one of the first out the gate. In 1995, Return to the 36 Chambers dropped on Elektra. It was everything Dirty was. Loud, messy, brilliant, offbeat, and weird as hell. The cover was a blown-up food stamp card. The beats were raw. The vocals sounded like first takes, but it hit. Brooklyn Zoo and Shimmy Shimmy Ya turned him into a solo star.
Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yay. Give me the mic so I can take it away. Off on a natural charge, bon voyage. Yeah, from the home of the Dodgers, Brooklyn squad.
Wu-Tang killer, beats on the swarm. Rain on your college ass disco dorm.
Then came the wild moments. I showed you that Grammy-crashing moment in 1998.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
He might have said that because ODB had 13 children by this point, although it may have been more.
How many kids do I have? Well, all the kids in the world is mine, okay? So I can't count how many kids I got.
And despite the success of his solo album, Dirty admitted things were tough financially, especially after getting in trouble for not paying child support.
The amount that's in question, they're saying about $35,000, which, you know, most people would, I guess, presume that rappers make a lot of money and that $35,000 would not be, you know.
No, Dirty don't have a lot of money. You know what I mean? Dirty is so busy giving out things. You know what I mean? Money really don't mean nothing to me.
Things stayed weird. Before all this, MTV followed him as he took a limo to go pick up food stamps.
Man, good old New York. You need a strong hand.
And it's around this point where we start seeing the cracks in ODB's personality. Like many rappers, he kind of developed a split personality. Eminem has Slim Shady, Tupac had Machiavelli, MF Doom had Victor Vaughn, Tyler the Creator has Igor, the list goes on. And sometimes these personas can take over, become addictive, and lead rappers into dangerous situations and mental states. His birth name was Russell Tyrone Jones. At first, when he, RZA, and GZA were getting the collective started, he was going by Eason Unique. RZA then dubbed him Old Dirty Bastard because there ain't no father to his style. Over the years, he took on other personas. Osiris, Dirt McGirt, and Big Baby Jesus were the other main ones. At first, he seemed to be able to distinguish between them.
It's like Old Dirty Bastard, that's like a job, you know what I mean? Cyrus is like a job too, you know? It's like, I don't know, I feel it, it feels me.
But slowly, his addiction started taking over. In 1998, he said he was sober, but it wasn't very convincing.
Oh no, I'm always sober.
Right, you've been sober now for how long?
For a while.
What was that, like 6 months?
Yeah.
Is that really true?
Yeah.
ODB always walked the line between genius and madness. But by the late 90s, the balance was slipping. He started showing up late, nodding off in interviews, saying things that didn't connect. He'd talk about the government watching him.
I'm talking about you bad white fuckers, you know what I'm saying? You CIA, you special intelligence hitting, secret keeping fuckers from my mother people.
He'd say people were trying to poison him. He told his friends he was being drugged. Most people laughed it off. Another dirty rant. But the people closest to him didn't think it was funny. There were rumors he had schizophrenia. Nothing official, but the symptoms were real. Delusions, paranoia, extreme mood swings. He'd disappear for days, come back incoherent, get into fights for no reason. Sometimes he wouldn't speak at all. Sometimes he wouldn't stop. He wasn't wrong about everything. Years later, leaked FBI files confirmed the feds were investigating Wu-Tang for suspected connections to organized crime. They had files, names, photos. It's not a conspiracy theory when it's on government letterhead. The FBI apparently had branded the group as a criminal enterprise and only ended their investigation when ODB died in 2004. In an interview, Masta Killa, another Wu member, put it like this: when you have things designed and in place for a certain group of people to not succeed, and you start to see them rising, you want to know how they're doing it. If music is that tool where you start to see people who are not designed to win start to make it, then you're going to target that system and try to find a way to control it. In a weird twist, two other Wu members, Method Man and Ghostface Killah, would later pose in this picture with former FBI Director James Comey backstage at The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in 2018. Ironic, since Comey was the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, as well as the U.S. Deputy Attorney General during the time the FBI was investigating the Rap Collective, so some of ODB's paranoia was justified, but it was more than just paranoia. ODB's run-ins with the law caught up fast. Drug charges, assaults, probation violations. He kept getting booked and kept getting released. In 2001, he was arrested again after skipping out on rehab and violating probation again. While he was awaiting his sentence at Rikers Island in New York, the Wu came and visited him, and they actually performed live in front of the inmates. Fellow Wu-Tang member Raekwon was there.
It was love all over again, you know what I mean? It was like doing the first show ever, you know, but dealing with the fact that your brother is up in the pen.
But prison broke dirty. He came out a different man, became more paranoid, lost touch with reality.
When I was in prison, all I heard was we are killing ODB. Here. It was deep in there, man. I didn't eat for months, man, because I was so scared in there.
He got diagnosed with a mental disorder, though no official word ever came out on what. They started him on medication inside, mood stabilizers, pills to keep him level. He didn't get better. When he got out in 2003, he didn't go back to Wu-Tang. Dame Dash signed ODB to Rockefeller before he even touched the mic again.
I'm proud to present the newest member of the Rock, Dirt McGirt. Holler!
It was supposed to be his relaunch. There was promo, magazine shoots, press runs, but none of it looked right. Dirty moved slow, talked slower. He stared through people during interviews. The label kept him busy, but he wasn't in charge of anything. His handlers told him where to be, what to wear, what to say. The people around him didn't know him. They just knew what he used to be worth. He was on all kinds of prescriptions: antipsychotics, antidepressants, sedatives. Raison Allah, his cousin, said in an interview that he saw a dozen pill bottles in his bathroom. His family said he didn't want to take them. He didn't even understand what half of it was for. But he took them anyway because he was told they were required, court-ordered, according to his team. But according to the system, he was technically clean. He was required to take frequent drug tests and was sober as far as the courts were concerned. There were moments where Dirty still showed up and killed it in the studio, like when he recorded a feature with the Neptunes.
Plugging up, cocaine make the speakers blow. Party amps getting sniffed up down with a tune. When it's trouble in my camp, a wireless amp. High as a ramp, stick to Wu-Tang stand. The what got me damn, these dogs in the land. Moses, you don't want to tamp, I see all fans. I'm too drunk too, how you like move. Cook out in Peru, in here like shampoo.
Then Dirty had to get out of his Wu-Tang contract, which, according to RZA, was still in effect. He finally did, and the two reunited in the studio. Still though, ODB was medicated and legitimately paranoid about the feds tailing him. Things were about to turn ugly. He said it straight one time to Ghostface Killah, "They're trying to kill me." November 13th, 2004. ODB collapsed in the studio. He was working at RZA's 36-chamber spot in Manhattan, preparing for what was supposed to be his big return. He was with his assistant. Other people were around. No one called for help for 45 minutes. By the time paramedics arrived, he was dead. Russell Tyrone Jones was 35 years old. Official cause, overdose. A mix of coke and tramadol, a prescription painkiller. The kind you're not supposed to mix. The kind his team had him on already. There was no investigation, no lawsuits, no industry reaction. Just a funeral and a vague press release. In his book, The Tao of Wu, RZA recalled hanging out with Dirty the night before he passed. "Trust me, the man who became ODB, A-Sun Unique, my cousin, he was a scientist and a minor prophet. People may not know this from the outrageous character he played, but ODB was a visionary. But he decayed, he lost that vision. From the time they put him in jail, to all the drugs he was doing, to all the stress he went through with his family, it took away his ability to see. And this night, he sat there and looked me in the eye and said, 'RZA, I don't understand.' Now I know that right there, right when he said that, we lost him. 8 hours later, ODB was gone." His mother said something wasn't right. RZA looked hollow when he talked about it. His cousin said, "They let him die." And the more you look at how he was handled in those final years, isolated, medicated, disconnected from the people who actually knew him, it's hard not to feel like they're right. "They drugged me. They're watching me. Y'all gon' miss me." ODB said it loud. People laughed. Now look around. Kanye's outbursts turned into hospital stays. Britney fought her own team in court just to get control of her life back. Kid Cudi checked into rehab for anxiety and depression while still charting. Juice WRLD rapped about popping pills until it killed him. Mac Miller's prophecies of his demise. These aren't one-offs. This is the machine. Labels will medicate you, isolate you, cash the checks, and move on. ODB saw it early. He tried to tell us. He sounded unhinged because the truth usually does. So what do you think? Was Old Dirty Bastard a victim of a rigged industry? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.